thank you as always for that awesome information. As we transition to our next segment here, we're bringing in the big dogs. We're bringing in our boy. It is, Tom, I think I'm 2-0 so far, and you're 1-1 on our picks, and I think we've made some pretty decent picks, but we're digging deep in the bag here. We're bringing in the expert. It's our really good friend, Joe Dellera. You guys could follow him at Joe Dellera, Dellera on X. I usually just say Twitter, but we are X now. He is welcome, Joe. He's the host of the Cash That podcast and Player Props. He does that for the Action Network and another awesome podcast, guys. If you want picks, if you like money, which I'm going AC on Saturday, I could probably use some money. Joe, hook me up here. But wherever you find your podcast, Apple, Spotify. Joe, welcome. That was quite an introduction for you. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Hope you guys are doing all right.
We're all good. We're hanging in there. My dog just started barking. She's excited that you're on the show, Joe.
Hey, let's go dogs,
That's right. So we're going to give a couple picks. Joe, we'll let you go first, and then me and Tom will give our picks. But just a reminder for you guys out there, we're teaming up with Sleeper. You guys can go to sleeper.com/promo/fit. They will give you a free, speaking of free money, they will give you a free $100 match. Sleeper.com/promo/fit. Joe, how many picks you got for us today? What are we doing?
We went a little crazy. We got 4. So we got 1 for the Thursday night game because, we got to get you guys some early action. And then we got 3 for Sunday. So I'll hit you guys with the first one. It is a weird prop. It is Jacob Moody over 2.5 extra points made for the 49ers. Oh my
goodness. He picks a kicker.
This guy.
Do kickers even get hurt? So.
Yeah, they don't come on our show very often, Tom. It's true. This guy, Joe, goodness. I'm going to let you have the stage here. Hey. Joe Dellera is money on this, but you're going to have to convince us to bet a kicker prop. What do you got?
So look, the way that I see this is the 49ers are obviously huge favorites on Thursday night. They're 10-point favorites over the New York Giants. The 49ers team total for the game is 27.5. So you're kind of, the line's kind of implying that the 49ers are going to score at least 3 touchdowns, the way that this is kind of looking and the way that his line is set up. Their team prop for touchdowns is over 3. It's over 3.5. So you're kind of getting a little bit of an edge here, I think, by just taking the kicker. There's a little bit of variance. Obviously, he could miss or they could go for 2. But I think that given the fact that they should be winning, they should be leading this game. The Giants without Barkley, I think they're going to really kind of struggle to contain this 49ers offensive attack. The 2.5 extra points is a different way to kind of back the 49ers in a way and expect them to score while, not necessarily going to the 27.5 and expecting basically 4 touchdowns instead. So this is looking for 3. And I think this is a better way to attack the 49ers as a whole.
Joe, you must be a lawyer or something, because man, you could speak. That was lovely. All right, and he's my kicker in a couple of my leagues. The kicker in my Vampire League. He's been excellent as well.
Yeah, 2-0, 2 for 2 on this line so far this season too.
This is just one that we're peppering. All right.
Yeah.
So, wait, you've taken this kicker prop before already?
Yeah, the kicker props are kind of fun. They're like, it's a weird market. People literally don't think about betting on the kickers because they're just like, why do we even have kickers? But I think it's just a different way that you can back some of these guys, some of these teams in a little bit more nuanced way to, back their offense, because like the 49ers are going to be up probably kind of big. Why are they going to necessarily be going for 2 at any point? Or, and then at that point, it's like, do kickers really miss extra points anymore? It's still, like you're still looking at like 90%. So you're able to kind of get it at a better line, in my opinion.
Consider me convinced. So Thursday night action, I got some action for that game. I was going to say, give us some, I'm not going to say real bets because of course that kicker one is real, but how about maybe something we could relate to a little more?
Yeah. So the rest of mine are all quarterbacks. The rest of them are all quarterbacks.
Okay.
So I'm looking at Tua Tagovailoa over 264.5 passing yards. Part of why I like this one is when we look at Denver so far is 30th in defensive DVOA in both overall defense and in pass defense. So outside of the concussion game that Tua had, he's 10 for 14 on the over of that with McDaniels at the offensive helm, and he's averaging 296.6. So I think that this is just like a little bit of a low line. All the trends too, like when you're looking at betting against the spread, they kind of back Denver. So Denver, they opened as a 7-point dog. They're bet down to a 6-point dog at this point. So what the line is kind of suggesting is that it should be like either relatively close or maybe you go to backdoor cover, but there should be just enough there to keep Tua throwing throughout the game and, kind of trusting this his arm against this relatively poor Denver defense, especially against the air. So I like Tua to go over the 264.5.
I like it. He's looked good. I mean, I've worried all year that he's going to go out with an injury. And side note about him, one of my coworkers is a Dolphins fan, and he said that Tua offseason took jiu-jitsu and all these other classes to learn how to fall properly because he had a hard, like I learned that recently. I was like, wow, okay, maybe I shouldn't have faded him this year because he looks pretty good, man. But all right, Tua over 264.5, book it.
Yeah. And then we'll stay in that same game too. So one of the props that I like is Russell Wilson over 16.5 rushing yards. He's actually gone over this in 65% of games over the last 2 years. Last game he had 56. I think that Miami could cause enough like kind of troubles for him to start running the ball, if he's got a scramble or something like that. He's close to this line. So there's a lot of times where he's like the margins are thin, but he's averaging 19.6 over the past 2 years. And he's averaging 23.8 over his last 5 games. So I like him to go over the 16.5, kind of expecting him to try to create some offense. Denver's in an 0-2 hole. I think that he'll try to scramble, make sure that they don't go down on the season 0-3. So if you wanted to kind of play those in the same game, that's a way to do that too.
Wonder if you could, I don't know if they let you parlay props that are in the same game. Probably not, right? Two-player props.
It looks like you can because I put the 4 of these together and it was $100 to win 914. So
throwing a hundy on this.
Oh my!
if you do that, that's but it's paying 9.14 times. So
okay,
and then go ahead.
No, now I'm starting to think about it. You're talk dirty to me, Joe. Not 100 to win 9. And guys, listen, we're not telling you to do that with your free 100 from Sleeper, but
hey,
we will be celebrating next week of all 4 of these. Hey, give us that 4th one, Joe.
All right, and this last one is a little gross, but it's one that I love. And it's Jordan Love over a half an interception. So I want him to throw 1 interception. Part of why I like this is if we look at him so far, right? He hasn't really thrown any picks, but the Saints are 4th in DVOA and the 3rd in defensive pass DVOA. Love has thrown an interception in 12 of his last 17 starts, like as a person. So like dating back to college, etc. So 12 for 17 against the Saints, who kind of run like a lot of chaotic defensive schemes. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They create like confusion. I think this is a much tougher matchup for Jordan Love so far throughout his career. He played the Falcons. He played, who'd they play in week 1? They played Chicago. So like neither of those teams have great defenses, right? So especially, let's not even get into Chicago's defense right now, but, but besides that, I think this is a much tougher matchup. It's a step up in class for him. And I think that there's a pretty good chance that he's going to throw over 1 interception here. And if you have alt lines available to you, you can get 2 at plus 425 as well. Like if you want to kind of sprinkle on those plus numbers there.
A little sprinkling. Tom was just talking about how he loves Jordan Love, but I think, we had Tano Passano from the Saints actually on our show, and I followed the Saints defense closely, and they are good. They're sneakily good. They might be able to force that mistake. So, Tom, are you convinced? Are you you gonna put the mortgage on this? What are we doing with this?
I'm actually gonna go withdraw my 401k and put all that down. No,
only on the kicker prop, only on the movie prop.
Kickers only. No, I will not do that. But I really do like all those picks. And Joe, you really must be a lawyer because you sold them all very well.
Hey, we do what we can, man. So at least my jury's only 2 people right now.
That's very true. Well, you got 2 yes votes for us, Joe, and thank you so much for that. And me and Tom will try to top that. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to give my pick, and Tom, you give yours. But just to recap Joe's picks, we got Jake Moody. Just get it's over 2.5, right, Joe? That's the line. 2.5 extra points.
Yeah.
Tua over 264.5 pass yards. Russell Wilson over 16.5 rush yards, and Jordan Love to throw an interception with some possible sprinkles of a 2 interception game for 425. All right, Joe. So once again, that's Joe Dallaire, guys, host of the Cash That podcast. Give him a follow. Go check them out wherever you guys do your podcasts. So far, Tom, I'm 2-0. Toot my own horn a little bit here. Week 1 gave you guys Keenan Allen. That hit. Last week, Tom, you doubted me. You gave me a stink face. You told me how bad my pick was. Rashad White over 56.5 yards.
He's still not good.
I know he's not good, but he had 73 yards. So 2-0. This week, I give you the line's a little bit high here. but jump all over this, guys. It's easy money. Tony Pollard, man. Tom, you know how much I adore him. I love him.
This is a Tony Pollard podcast.
It's the official Tony Pollard podcast. His rush line this week, guys, is 74.5. Listen, this year so far, he has been close to breaking one. We know how good he is, how explosive he is, his vision, his hands, all that stuff. First week, he was 14 for 70. And last week, 25 carries, only 72 yards. He hasn't been exactly efficient, but we know the type of player that Tony Pollard is, right? And last week, right, Tony Pollard, why did he get 25 carries? Well, because they played the Jets and they were winning, and that's what's going to happen this week too. The Cowboys might win by 20 this week. They're 11.5-point favorites against the Cards. We talked about how good the Cowboys defense is. They're for real. Cowboys are going to be up in this game. He doesn't even need 25 carries. Give him 20 carries, give him 21 carries, 22 carries, whatever. His career average, guys, 5.0 yards per carry, right? 20 yards or 20 carries times 5 yards a carry puts him around 100 yards, right? I think that's easy over 74.5. It's not as crazy and fun as a kicker prop, but Tony Pollard over 75.5 yards. Lock it in, baby. What do you got, Tom? No stink face from you. I think you like that one this week.
Oh, I'm totally fine with that one. My only concern would be if they get up big and he doesn't even play in the second half. But
yes, legitimate concern. They're up by 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and he's pulled. But I think he does the damage before that. But
he might be the reason they're up.
It could be.
So mine is a little less logical, more coin flip, but more just because Sleeper's offering a 4.24 times multiplier on this one. And it's for Kareem Hunt to just score a touchdown. That's all he's got to do. Doesn't have to do anything else. Just fall in the end zone. It can happen at any time. He can run it. He can catch it. He can play defense and get an interception. It doesn't matter. He just needs to score a touchdown. And it's a 4.24 times multiplier. I mean, if he was somebody that had never played for them, I mean, it still wouldn't be a bad bet because he's just got to get in the end zone. But he's played for them for 3 or 4 years. He knows the team. He knows the system, which tells me that, yes, yeah. And I just said a few minutes ago how I spent 70% of my fab on Jerome Ford because I do think that Jerome Ford is going to be the lead back here. But all Kareem Hunt needs to do is get 10 touches, and one of them could find the end zone, and you're getting 4.24 times payout.
So that would be basically like plus 420, right? That's what that is. They do it a little bit different than some. Yeah, so 4 times payout. I mean, I'm having visions of Scott Hansen, and we go over to the and look who it is. Kareem Hunt just okay.
I'm glad you said it like that because literally every week when I'm setting my lineup, I'm like, wait, if I don't start this guy, Scott Hansen's gonna do exactly what you just did. It's gonna be a cutaway to Scott Hansen saying, "Oh, look at Jordan Addison, rookie, catching a 60-yard touchdown." I'm like, "Oh, god damn it, I benched him this week."
And his like exciting, not high pitched voice, but that guy, Scott Hansen, that guy's got a job. He's electric. He really is.
Best.
All right, so those are our picks, and again, guys, go over to Sleeper, check it out. You guys can get that match by using the promo code FIT and. Joe, thank you again for your picks. And if you want to hang around, feel free. We got one more quick segment here.
No, thanks, guys. It was a pleasure being on here, and I appreciate the time.
Always, man. We'll see you soon.
Both your picks, by the way. Those are both fun.
Oh, thank you. Not as fun as your picks. Not as fun as
kickers.
Hey, nothing like a nice kicker. Later, guys.
See you later, Joe. Thank you so much. And Joe's the best. He's a really good friend of ours, and he works really hard. His content is awesome, and he gave us, Tom, something to do on this Thursday night game. And now I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and start thinking about kickers. It's going to be great.